In this episode, we look at environmental problems, causes, and effects. Page 133 from our science workbook. Many environmental problems have been caused by people. Some of these problems include global warming, ozone depletion, acid rain, and smog. Let's look at pollution, air and water. Our environment is everything around us. It is the surrounding in which a plant or animal lives. Air, land, and water is being polluted or made unfit for use. Many industrial processes and modern ways of living pollute the atmosphere. It is unpleasant to breathe polluted air because this can cause damage to our health. Fumes from traffic are responsible for releasing tons of lead in the atmosphere. The lead is mixed in the air and absorbed by humans and other animals, poisoning their bodies. Children are especially at risk. Chemical wastes from factories, fertilizers, and sewage have polluted many rivers, seas, and lakes. These have caused the death of marine life. Oil spills at sea and in the oceans is also very dangerous to marine life. It prevents them from finding food. When this happens, they eventually die of hunger. People who drink water that is polluted with sewage can become very sick. Environmental problems affect the natural cycles such as the oxygen cycle, the carbon cycle, and the water cycle. These cycles are used over and over again in nature. Let's look at the oxygen cycle and the ozone layer. Living things utilize oxygen from the air. They use it to release energy from the food they eat. Oxygen is released into the atmosphere by green plants during photosynthesis. Ozone. Ozone, and the chemical formula here is O3. So it has 3 atoms of oxygen. Ozone is a special kind of oxygen. There is a very thin layer of ozone high in the atmosphere. The ozone layer is responsible for filtering out the harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun. Too much ultraviolet rays burn the skin, causing skin cancer and damage to our eyes. They can also hurt plants. Chemicals called CFCs or chlorofluorocarbons in aerosol and refrigerants destroy the ozone layer when they escape in the atmosphere. Okay, so let's look at the carbon cycle and global warming. The bodies of all living things are based on the element carbon. We're turning over now from page 133 to 134. The carbon comes originally from the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Green plants and some bacteria take this in and use it to make food. When animals eat the plants, they take in some of the carbon. Carbon dioxide goes back into the atmosphere when living things breathe out, or when they produce waste, or when they die or decay. When we burn coal, oil, and wood, we release carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Excess carbon dioxide also comes from fumes given off by factories and motor vehicles. All this extra carbon dioxide is creating a blanket around the Earth, causing it to get warmer. This is called global warming. Other gases, known as greenhouse gases, are also having an effect on the Earth's atmosphere and climate. These gases trap heat that would otherwise escape into space. This is called the greenhouse effect. So let's now look at the water cycle and acid rain. Water on the Earth's surface, such as seas and rivers, is heated by the sun and evaporates as water vapor into the atmosphere. As it rises into the air, it cools and condenses back into water again. Water droplets collect together to form clouds and then fall back to the surface as rain. Rainwater has always been slightly acid as carbon dioxide and other gases in the atmosphere dissolve in rain. The water reacts with the acid from power stations, fossil fuels, and fumes from vehicle exhaust to produce acid rain. The acidity of rain has increased since the world became industrialized. When acid rain falls, it can damage plants, animals, and corrode buildings. Now we move to smog. Smog is a mixture of smoke, fog, and chemical fumes. It contains sulfur and nitrogen. In cities and industrialized areas, the air contains many extra particles because of the smoke released by these industries. Water vapor condenses on the smoke to form smog. People living in these areas are more likely to develop asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory problems. Pests. A pest is any living thing that disrupts the growth of crops or livestock. It may be weeds, fungus, or insects. Farmers reduce the number of pests by using pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides. Those which are used against weeds or herbs are called herbicides. Those which are used against insects are called insecticides. Some of the chemicals we spray on crops are poisonous to people as well as to the environment. Noise pollution. Some sounds are just noise. Noise is annoying sounds that pollute the environment. Noise is caused by irregular vibrations. When there is too much continuous noise that is harmful to the health, we call this noise pollution. The noise made by heavy traffic with loud horns, music being played loudly, and even the sound of an aircraft flying low overhead can cause noise pollution. Noise pollution makes people nervous. They are unable to think properly or hear each other. Some people may become physically or mentally ill as a result of noise pollution. Very loud sounds can actually hurt your ears and give you a headache. If they go on continually, they may damage the sensory cells in the inner ear, causing permanent deafness. People who work close to machinery in factories are at particular risk. These people normally wear earplugs to prevent any form of damage. We go on now to endangered species and extinction. Species of plants and animals that are in danger of disappearing because few of the population are left on Earth are considered endangered. For example, the West Indian manatee or sea cow, and we have a picture here to the right. Since life began on Earth, thousands of species of plants and animals have become extinct or have died out due to natural causes. However, people have increased the extinction process by 1. Destroying habitats. What are habitats? The places where organisms live and obtain food, water, and shelter. 2. By polluting the environment. 3. By hunting and collecting species. 4. By introducing other animals. The endangered species can be saved by protecting their natural habitat or by setting up breeding programs to increase the numbers. So here we have at the bottom of page 135, reasons for extinction. We have hunting and collecting, that's a very small slice, habitat destruction, introduced animals, and we would call those invasive species, other causes, for example disease, and unknown causes being the largest reason. We turn now from page 135 to page 136. Some solutions to environmental problems. Everyone can do something to help to save Earth's land, air, and water. Most of our environmental problems can be solved by using the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. The 3 R's again: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce means to use less. Reuse means to use things again. Recycle means to use waste materials again. Reduce pollution Reduce pollution as much as possible, especially those that are likely to damage our environment. Reduce the use of aerosol products containing harmful gases which destroy the ozone layer. Reduce the cutting down as well as the burning of trees. Reduce soil erosion by practicing methods of soil conservation. Reduce the use of leaded gasoline in motor vehicles. Recycle as many useful materials as possible, such as glass, tin cans, plastic bottles, and paper. Reuse mined-out lands for agricultural purposes. Reuse vegetable peelings and other wastes from the kitchen, as well as reuse dead flowers and leaves from gardens to make a compost heap. Avoid throwing glass, tin cans, plastic bottles, and other paper products into gullies, as these will block drains and cause flooding. Avoid packaging that cannot be recycled, such as styrofoam. Avoid washing motor vehicles in rivers and streams, as oil, grease, and soap can pollute water. Note, environmental problems can be solved by making good use of present resources so that they are always available for use in the future. This is referred to as sustainable development of the environment, for which we all should be committed. Sustainable development can be achieved by 1. Reducing pollution to the land, air, and water. 2. Planting trees. 3. Making compost heaps. 4. Protecting plants and animals from becoming endangered or extinct. It is illegal to kill the manatees. We can make a difference by taking care of our environment. We now move to page 137, where we look at our unit review. First activity, we have Group 1, and Group 1 is a list of words relating to the environment. Group 2 consists of corresponding statements. So you are supposed to match Group 1 with Group 2 by writing the correct word on the spaces provided. You're going to complete your unit activity, and when next we come to class, we'll be looking at Test 1 on page 140. See you then.